A lot of you have asked for a guide, a prep guide for 1.0, and this is it. We're going to start off with the thing you want to resolve first. It's going to be your mount, your party pal mount. This could be Xenoloord or Jet Dragon. Take your pick. Progress to this first. Moving on to the end game base pals here. Once you have a lot of books and can max out work suit abilities, the end game base pals are going to be the three at the top. Panking Lux, Shroomer Noct, and Cataract Immunus can actually perform every role that's not cooling. So medicine, handiwork, all the important stuff people care about, except for cooling. Those three at the top sustain everything at the max efficiency, and Shroomer Noct makes sure that everybody in the base can sustain cruel work speed without going insane. If you think cooling is going to be useful, then the Van Warn Chris is going to be the best. And if you need more transport efficiency and more kindling move speed, then Incineram Noct. But this is all with books in the end game. Next up, it's going to be Party Pals. This is very important because when they add new levels, you won't have the hardest guns, the strongest guns. So Party Pal damage is going to scale really well before you get your legendary schematics for the level 80 or 90 weapons or what have you. This means things like Shadowbeak, Selene, etc. I'm going to strongly recommend Shadowbeak because it's such a good aggro puller. More on that in the video description for why Shadowbeak is the best aggro puller right now. Followed by Frostallion and Frostallion Noct and things like that, and Selene. So Shadowbeak's 2 Divine Disasters scale really well for raids and also for hard tower bosses. So if the tower boss does not resist Dark, double Divine Disaster is more than enough to obliterate it. And if you give it a third skill like Poison Shower or anything that Shadowbeak can boost with its partner skill, which is Dark, such as Poison Shower, it just turns into a machine. Some of the fastest pal damage kills, pure pal damage kills, are done with Shadowbeak against tower bosses, in this case Bjorn, and also strong against Saya and things like that. So if it's not a dragon target that mitigates this, Shadowbeak is going to dominate it. Whatever new tower boss we get, if Shadowbeak remains unchanged, is going to be absolutely fodder for Shadowbeak. 2 Shadowbeaks can be used in conjunction to alternate cooldowns. If the target resists Dark, as is the case with dragons, we can use something like Frostallion. Frostallion boosts its own ice damage when you're mounting it, showing here that that boosted ice damage is enough to hold aggro during raids, even against Ultra raids. So here we have the Frostallion holding aggro against Xenoloord Ultra, and providing a very good distraction to keep the Zoes alive and controlling the positioning of the boss. So the Frostallion gives you the speed to outrun the boss, to waste its time, to position it well, and also to hold aggro. So the benefit of having aggro mounts, as opposed to doing your own damage with the player and having your aggro on the player, is that when the boss does really hard to dodge attacks, such as Cosmic Meteor, which you're going to see here shortly, you can just dismount and withdraw the pal. So by controlling where the aggro is, you can just withdraw the pal and make the boss target up into the nothing. So here we have Cosmic Meteor. I know that the aggro on the boss is against my Frostallion, so I'm just dropping it on the ground, withdrawing the Frostallion, and boom, all the beams go into nothing because Frostallion is out. So we wasted the boss's time there. Frostallion is going to be for anything that's Shadowbeak, that resists Shadowbeak. So in this case, an anti-dragon mount. Frostallion Noct might get new skills, might be relevant too. Moving on to player damage here, Felbat is going to be your go-to for Life Leech. If you get the new guns, Felbat is going to be your go-to for Overworld. However, not the best fighting style because you're limited to, it basically just helps you tank and that's it. Moving on to another option of doing player damage here, it's going to be Selene. Selene obviously shines against fat targets and lower level targets, showing here that 3 Selenes back-to-back or 4 Selenes with boosted Holy Burst demolish Victor and Shadowbeak and anything that's like big. However, in the future, I fully expect the devs to move away from big targets such as this one that are easy to kill with Holy Burst. Very quick kill here with Selene. So Selene, I'm not going to give it too much relevance here because as you can see here, there's other easier to use options against narrow target tower bosses, such as Noclem, Korjiro, a Shadowbeak, that are really more reliable. For example, Noclem is consistent here, easy to play, very safe playstyle. And the damage is quite good. Not the highest, but if you were to bring a Selene here, even though Selene looks awesome, Selene isn't going to be able to take advantage of Holy Burst, really, because Bjorn is just not vulnerable to it. He's just not big enough, doesn't get hit by it enough times. And in this case, something like a Noclem for tower killing, for boss killing, is going to be much easier to use, more reliable, more consistent, and just more effective overall. Also, you can control the Noclem's element. So you can build Noclems for whatever element you want. And the same is true for Korjiro Noct. Here we have some tower killer Korjiro Nocts that are using water damage. Not Rock Burst, not Poison Shower, not anything like that. They're just using Geyser Gush and Hydro Slicer to kill Bjorn and Bastigor. And again, very easy playstyle. I'm just swapping the Korjiro Nocts. And then it gives me 2 targets. It gives the boss, it can target me, or it can target the pal that I'm using. And when that happens, you really can't lose because the boss has 2 targets to kill. You can swap in and out of pals. The Krajura are very tanky because there's 5 of them. Very smooth kill here. I played super sloppy in this one on purpose just to show that as soon as I withdraw one, these are not even like optimal skills. I could have given them better skills. But with just 2 skills, Geyser Gush and Hydro Slicer, these guys I believe have Lunker. Really easy kill here with the Krajura Nox, like very simple. Here we have Krajura Nox that are built for lightning damage. These are not water attackers. This is in case we get, let's say, like a lightning tower boss, an electric tower boss, or excuse me, a water tower boss. These Krajuros have Eternal Flame, and they're built, in this case they have Flame Funnel because it's Bjorn, but they do have All Range Thunder for AoE Lightning, and they do have Lightning Streak. So these Krajura Nox are lightning attackers. If we get a narrow water boss, then these Krajuras would be really easy to use, and or if Holy Burst gets nerfed, or the boss is just not vulnerable to it, which we've already seen is the case. The last 2 tower bosses we've got, Cyan, Celine, and Bjorn and Bastigor, don't really take that much damage from Holy Burst, so other attacks are more effective against it. So pretty easy playstyle here. Like I mentioned, Fellbat here is going to be an option once you get your weapons running, but really it's more of a tank build. It's not meant to be a efficiency build. More if you have trouble staying alive. And then these are the supporting pals for the party. Moving on here to Arena, we know that there's going to be new Arena teams. And in case they nerf Hartalis, you should probably build 1 or 2 Arena teams, just 3 pals each, that cover the elements. Basically here I have a couple Astegons and some Azurobes and also Turtle Terra, those 3, to cover elemental weaknesses that they share among each other. So in case Hartalis gets nerfed, because right now Hartalis, there's nothing that can stop it in the arena. It's simply too easy to use. We can just use the other teams. So we can do that. And that's going to be a pretty safe bet here. Pretty safe playstyle. So here we've got some Azurobes as well, showing that it's good to have diversity in the future because you're going to want to farm those new arena teams for whatever rewards they might have. And having some diverse arena teams that can handle different things, like I said, in case Hartalis Nuke gets nerfed, then it's going to be handy. Here we have some Azurobes. They're weak to ice, but because they're pretty well built, they can still handle an ice team no problem, even without intervention. So if you decided to do intervention on the player's end, it would be even simpler. So just you want to have all your bases covered for 1.0 when it comes to combat and things like that. So pretty smooth kill here. And then moving on to raids here, we've got a couple of examples of raids. So for raids, I would recommend breeding, I would say, 2 to 3 armies that can cover each other's weaknesses, just to be safe, because we don't know what new raid bosses we're getting. I would recommend 15 Bellanors here, pretty high DPS. Kind of hard to keep alive, but Nightmare Bloom is good against anything that doesn't resist dark. So let's say we have a raid boss that's, I don't know, let's say it's water or electric. Bellanor is still going to be pretty decent against it because it spreads out and it's very easy to keep alive. So 15 Bellanor would be pretty useful against everything that doesn't resist dark. Going to be useful into the future. Just to spread out behavior and small hitbox is pretty good. So 15 Bellanor is something I'd recommend, as well as other things that are easy to keep alive, such as 15 Palladius, and then you want other things that might cover each other's weaknesses. For example, 15 Anubis would be pretty useful in case Anubis's skills get reworked, or we get a raid boss that is lightning, that is weak to ground. Other pals such as Violet could also get unique skills, and Violet has a good hitbox and it's grass type. So I bred 15 Violets to cover weaknesses from other pals. So for example, if we get a ground raid boss that's weak to grass and spams Rock Burst, Violet is the pal that I think is easiest to keep alive because it will naturally resist ground attacks and doesn't clump up and doesn't close the distance too fast because it's slow. So variety is a spice of life when it comes to raids. So make sure you have all your bases covered. I recommend 2 to 3 raid armies that cover each other's weaknesses, like I mentioned. And that's going to do it for this 1.0 prep guide. Leave me a comment and leave me a like if you enjoyed it. And if it helped you, I'll see you guys on the next one.